RMJ Movie Reviews back again with another happy Halloween movie review. And I don't even really know if I could use happy in the same context of the movie I'm about to talk about, because boy, we have this is taking a walk to the dark side. Maybe a better way to put this would be going straight to hell. I'm going to review Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, starring Michael Rooker and Tom Tolles. Oof, this one here. I said I was going to do obscure films that maybe casual horror movie fans are not very familiar with. This film right here, my background with this film. I had never ever heard of the film initially, because the film, from my understanding, was filmed in, I believe, in 85 or 86, and it wasn't released, I think, until 1989. But in my local video stores, before video stores went defunct, way before, like I'd probably say maybe around the early 90s, I had seen this cover. I had seen this cover at the video store. It didn't look like this. It was actually Michael Rooker, just like a straight him looking into a mirror, not with all this fancy red coloring stuff. And I was always curious because I recognized him. I was like, yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, I recognize that guy. You know, and I recognized Michael Rooker from other films that I had seen him in. And I did not even actually see the film until, so I had seen it on the video store shelf for years. I had never even seen this movie on cable. Matter of fact, to my knowledge, I had never seen it air like on Cinemax or the Movie Channel or anything like that. I might have just missed it. But I had seen it on the video shelves for years and years and years. And I was always curious because I was like, I know that guy. What the heck is this Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer movie about? So either way, it wasn't until I was in film school in 2006 that I actually found a family video and I rented it. And this is not so much really. I would definitely call it a horror film in the context of this is a horrific situation, but it's not a slasher film in the vein of the films that came out in the era it was made, you know, a la Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Prom Night, any one of them ones, The Final Exam, any one of them ones that came out in the decade of the 80s. This is really an art house picture, which I know sounds very crazy, but it's an art house picture in the vein of stuff that came in the 90s, kind of like Pulp Fiction, Love in a 45, Basketball Diaries, you know, all those kind of like very independent arty movies that came out in the early 90s and stuff. This is basically what Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is. It's an art house film. Very independent, extremely low budget. This is experimental filmmaking is what it is. So anybody who sees my review and watches the film, do not go into it expecting Tom Savini, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter type of special effects, kill setups and all that, because that's not what this is. This is an art house movie. It is an experimental film, and basically you are watching the behavior. Basically, a name I would call it is The Misadventures of Two Serial Killers, which these are based on two real guys. One of the men who it's based on is the guy who's I don't think they know this to be true, but allegedly this man murdered John Walsh's son, which we all know John Walsh, who does America's Most Wanted. I think he's on a different show now. But we know that his son was I can't remember how old his son was. I think his son was like 6 or 7. But he was murdered in the early 80s. And one of the men who this killer is based on in this movie was allegedly the one who murdered his son. And it's also based on another guy. I'm not even going to say their names on the channel. Anybody who's seen the movie, we all know who they are. I don't even really want to talk about that kind of stuff. I'm just giving you context to the movie. But this is based on two real guys. They're both dead now, but I think one of them is they both might have been passed away, or killed, or whatever. But two very, 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 very sick, dangerous individuals that this movie is based on. And basically, it shows the daily lives of these two sickos, which is what they are: sick psychopaths who are serial killers. And it's exactly what the title says. You know, it's not even so much. The movie doesn't like show. It shows, I'd probably say maybe about 4 kills. There's a high body count, and well, not a high body. It's a medium body count for the time period the movie was made, but most of it is kind of just the deed is already done, and it kind of more is implied what happens through sound effects, which this film has very eerie sound effects. There's like a lot of scenes where you'll see bodies lying around that have been violently murdered, and you can hear like these kind of screams in the background of the victim, and you can hear the killer kind of doing the deed, and it's very, very eerie. It's very, very creepy, and it's very unsettling. Michael Rooker and Tom Tolles are scary. They're just scary. They're very, very scary. And what I like about the movie, I wouldn't go so far as to say so much I like this movie. It's more is that I'm fascinated in how well done it is, and how it really presents these psychopathic personalities, and really how individuals of this nature who are capable of these kind of things are very they're just empty. You know what I mean? They're just devoid of anything. So like when you see stuff like Silence of the Lambs and, you know, Buffalo Bill's Precious and all these theatrics and Hannibal Lecter and all of that, it's really, I mean, and really honestly, you guys can research this stuff. If you look at any kind of prison documentaries or stuff, when you see those kind of personalities, the guys who really do this stuff for real, they're so flat, they're so cold, they're so empty. It's just that they have nothing inside at all. And Tom Tolles and Michael Rooker present this very, especially Michael Rooker even more, because Tom Tolles, who was, you know, rest in peace, was a brilliant actor. He's such a brilliant actor. He can really play goofy and goof it up, Bill Moseley Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 style, but also ground it and make him like a real sicko. So he really does that balance pretty good. Michael Rooker plays it almost to the T, like one of those guys that I saw in my psychology of incarceration class when I was in college, when we used to watch prison documentaries. He plays it very much like one of those type of personalities, just blank, nothing. And it's really amazing how Michael Rooker can really make his eyes look totally flat, just devoid of any kind of humanity. And they're very scary. And the movie is about the misadventures of them. Tom Tolles, who plays Otis. Michael Rooker is Henry. Otis' sister comes in, which also the sister character in this film was based on a real. I don't know if it was actually the guy's real sister, but it was based on a real girl who was traveling with these two guys in real life, and supposedly they had done a lot of murders. They don't know if they're true or whether they're not, because these guys lie a lot in real life. But the whole dynamic here is based totally on reality, although the film is fictional. But and it shows about their interactions, and yeah, Michael. It's just pretty much scary because these guys are just, the characters in the film just kill at random without any motive or anything, and it's just they just do it. They just do it. There's only I'd probably say 2 murders in the film that are kind of motivated with some kind of reason behind it, which I won't give away for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. But this is not an entertainment picture at all. Most of the part with the kill scenes, like I said, it's aftermath. You're kind of seeing the result of what had happened. And then there's a couple kills in there, a couple prostitutes are killed, which is really eerie scene in a car. They drag the dead girls out the car, and to see these actresses, and it's a very dark alley, to see them being drugged out the car, like thrown in the bushes, it's just very, very, it's creepy. It's very creepy. And there are scenes where Michael Rooker and Tom Tolles play it kind of goofy. Kind of a little bit almost like two goofballs. But I will say, it kind of rides that little balance right there. But there's a scene, I'm not going to give it away for people who haven't seen the picture, because those of you might be brave enough to actually watch this thing. And it involves a 1980s camcorder, which I don't know if those of you are old enough, those big VHS cameras, which I still have a couple laying around here somewhere. I'll show it on film one day, digressing. But where the two guys film their exploits. It's a scene that really, really takes a turn. And I know for people who might not be used to, because this is like ultra, ultra, ultra low budget, and it kind of goes back to that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes, the original 70s films, that kind of just like, it's so low budget that it feels like you're watching a snuff film. That's definitely how it feels. But that camcorder scene, one thing I will say, they're brave actors. They're brave. They're very brave. And I'm saying for everybody involved. I'm saying the guys who play the killers and the actors who play the victims, because it's acting, it's pretend, and it's not real and all of that. But in particular, Tom Tolles and another actor, they go to a very, 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 very dark place. I can't imagine how it probably was when they yelled "cut." I just can't. And I'm saying for both sides of the equation, whether you're the one who's doing the giving and the actor who's kind of receiving the assault, shall we say. It had to have been, even though, like I said, it's acting and it's fake, I'd have to imagine that it had to have been quite harrowing for both. And if I was either actor who did either side of the scene, I don't think I'd probably ever watch the film again. Let alone, I don't think I'd probably ever even show the film to anybody. And as I recall in the documentary, I think Tom Tolles said he had only ever seen the film once. I wonder about that when I watch this picture. Like, when I see where Tom Tolles had to go and this other actor had to go, I just think to myself, like, I like acting and all that stuff and I enjoy it, but would I actually be brave enough as an actor to go where they go? Because the thing is, goodness Lord, my parents got to see this thing, and other people and my friends, so it's like, if they see me go where these cats went, it's like, am I going to be invited over to the party anymore? It's I don't know, it had to have been harrowing. It had to have been. And from what I understand, I don't know I think the actress who partook in the scene I'm referring to, which I won't give away, I think she's in the documentary. I can't remember. But as I recall, I think there was some PTS for everybody involved, even though it's pretend. But yeah, that scene really will take your breath out of your mouth. It's a heavy scene. It's very, very heavy, and it feels like a snuff film. That's the standout piece of this movie to me. And I think it's ultra low budget, and it just has this very grainy, and you could tell it has this, like, it's shot in Chicago, so it has that really cheesy, those old 80s cars, 80s Chicago, and I think that adds to it too, because, in this time where you have such glossy superhero movies and stuff, it's really nice to sometimes just see some films that are just artistic, down and dirty and raw, and actors and filmmakers who are willing to push the boundaries. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with the commercial stuff and the low budget stuff, but every once in a while, I think you do need some maverick filmmakers who are willing to make films like this that push those boundaries. And this definitely pushed the boundaries, and everybody who made this thing is brave, because I don't know if I got the courage to do it. You can't make a movie like this and then like go to like some friends who you haven't seen in like 20 years and be like, hey, look what I made, guys. Because regardless, it is a film and it is fake, but people take this stuff seriously. Even though as actors and entertainers, we know you yell cut, but when you see it put together with the music, it just it brings a whole nother life to it. So this is a heavy film, but like I said, I give it ultra points for being artistic, for being brave to just be able to tell this very, very scary story. Straightforward. It's down. It's dirty. It's grainy. It's raw. It's uncomfortable. This isn't a fun picture. It's not. It's and some of the 80s and some of the kill scenes are a little tad bit goofy, but a slide of some of the goofiness of it, it's just very raw, it's very dark, and it's very unpleasant. And I think the nature of the film is just supposed to, the overall film is just supposed to represent just the subject matter and just these two characters. So the film embodies these characters. So the unpleasantness, the ickiness, just the sickness and danger here, I think embodies the mindset of these characters in this film. So it's very well done. It's very well done. Very creepy. And it ends in a way that, again, this is low budget filmmaking, so it doesn't end with a hoorah moment or the cops bust in the doors and get the killers and all that kind of stuff. It ends very eerily. I'm not going to give it away, but it ends on an object where it's just like, man, and it just leaves you just, yeah, tough picture. Very, very, very heavy picture. Like I said, some of the cheese and the low budget might take you out of it a little bit, but it's an eerie, creepy film. It really is. And Tom Tolles, God bless that man. He was a brave actor. I think according, he was a Navy SEAL. I think I might be misquoted. I could be wrong, but I think he was a Navy SEAL. He was a soldier, so. Whew, that man was brave. They were all brave to participate in this, because I don't know if I could make a picture like this, or if I would make a picture like this, I don't even know if I'd even tell anybody I made it. I might just go ahead and make it, get my little credit up in Hollywood, and who knows? I'm surprised Michael Rooker and Tom Tolles got other jobs after they did this movie, man, because when you guys see that camcorder scene, it's... Whew. So, thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel and share the video, and leave your thoughts down below about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. If you have seen the film, do you feel it's overrated? Do you feel that it really is creepy? How do you feel about that camcorder scene and Tom Tolles and his method acting, the actress? Just overall, how you feel about this film? Do you feel this type of film is wrong? I kind of am not sure. I'm not sure. Because this is not Friday the 13th. That's fantasy horror stuff. This is about as close to the darkness of real life as you can get. So, that is my review of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Those brave enough, give it a shot. To the sensitive, stay away. RMJ Movie Reviews. I will see you guys soon.